Hi everyone, it's Jay from Mitosu Crafts. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to our channel. Today I'll be recreating this card with the ink blended background using blending brushes as well as the Darling Donkeys stamp set and Corner Bouquet stamp set, which are free during celebration, and that will end on the 28th of February. The inks I'll be using are Memento, Bermuda Bay, Granny Apple Green, and Pacific Point. You'll also need the Ivory and Bronze Stampin' Blends marker, Smoky Slate, and the chalk marker. So the cards I'll be using are just thick basic white and normal basic white. So this one is going to be a 10th fold, so use whatever dimensions you normally use. And we're just gonna burnish that fold. An offcut of Very Vanilla card. That one's thick for stamping the donkey, and this one is just an offcut, 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters in height, and then the width we're just gonna cut off for the sentiment. For the layer, you'll need 1.5 less than the card front, or that's 9/16 of an inch less than the card front. Okay, so you'll have a nice border around. So we're gonna start off with a bit of stamping and coloring the donkey. So you'll need the sitting donkey, and we're gonna stamp that in Memento. So we're gonna quickly color with the ivory and bronze. So using the ivory just to color all of the donkey. I'm gonna leave the mouth uncolored to keep the Very Vanilla for that. I have changed this from the original design, but I thought I just wanted to do a quick coloring. And the bronze I'm gonna do under the ears, and it's just block coloring. You can blend it out if you prefer. And for the tail, and then we're gonna color the hooves in light smoky slate. And then once that's dry, you can go back in again with the ivory for the shading. So hopefully that's dry, and then just go back in where you want more shadows. And because it's already dry, the first initial layer is already dry, it shouldn't blend in, which is what we want. So we just want outlines for the shading. We're gonna outline using the dark smoky slate to help us fussy cut the donkey, and hopefully it'll also help with it to blend in with the stamp background layer. So I'm just following the outline, and then we're gonna use the smoky slate line to fussy cut around. Okay, so paper snips, and then just cut around your image. We're independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrators based in the UK, so if you live in the UK, France, Germany, Austria, or the Netherlands, you'll be able to purchase current Stampin' Up! Products from our online shop. Do use the current host code, which can be found on our website at mitosocrafts.com, to receive a handmade card from us the following month, or extra gifts and tutorials when your order qualifies. So now that's been fussy cut, we can do the ink blended background. So using the layer, the basic white layer, before we do the blending, we're gonna stamp the smaller corner bouquet design below like so. So we're gonna use Memento as well for this. So just off the page once that way, and then the next one we're gonna turn it. So turn it 90 degrees. So wait for it to dry a little bit. You can start inking up the sky. So we're gonna do Pacific Point for the sky, Bermuda Bay for the middle, and Granny Apple Green for the foreground. So we'll start off with the sky. So with the ink, the blending brushes, apply ink with a circular motion. And then start off the page. And blend that in. Take off any excess first. So I do want it quite light at the beginning. And then we can add a bit more later on to add the light streaks. So we're gonna add Bermuda Bay. So I'm gonna concentrate more in the middle. So start off from the side. For the dark, and then we're gonna add Granny Apple Green. Along the bottom. So I quite like that it's got a hazy shadow just underneath the corner bouquet. And we're also gonna add a bit of Granny Apple Green around the stamped image. So now we pretty much have the base of the background. We're gonna add the details on there. So you can use scrap piece of paper or another grid paper, and to we want the light streaks, so we're gonna add, so use your grid paper to make sure that it's straight, and then we're gonna add the light streak around here, so make sure that that's straight on, and then you can ink up your brush again. So we'll just do this. It might be easier if you stick that down, but I'm just gonna keep it like so. Take off any excess and then add the ink onto your project. So you can go down a little bit more, lift up your mask, and then once you're happy with it, you can just move along. So just slightly, and then blend the ink again. So if you want more intense color, re-ink your brush, take off excess, and then carefully add the ink again. So you have two light streaks there. I'm gonna turn this the other way around so it's easier for me. So the next one we're gonna add around there. So it doesn't have to be straight. You can do diagonal lines as well. So we'll just add 3 more light streaks on the right hand side or the left once it's in the correct orientation. So that one and this one. Ink it up, take off the excess, and add onto your project. And because it's a light color, it might not look like you're adding that much on, but you are. Just make sure that that's right. And then add. There we go. So you can intensify the top as well by going back in with the Pacific point, especially where the sentiment is going to be, so to make that pop a little bit more. So I'm just gonna add a bit more blue, Pacific point blue in the corners up here and on the side. And because we're adding the layer to all of those, the ink is kind of like layering up, so you can still see those light streaks. So I want a bit more up here. And then on the side as well. And because the blue, when the blue hits the granny apple green, it makes it a darker green, but you still have the lighter green there. But if you want that darker, just go back in with the Pacific point. And I think that is done. So we're going to stamp our sentiment from Darling Donkeys in Memento. So just use an offcut and then trim it afterwards. Or if you're happy with the placement on the card, you can just trim off the sides. So that one. I do want, ooh, or you can use your paper snips. So it is a bit, there's a bit more space on top, so I'm just gonna trim that. And what's great about this paper trimmer is you can trim off small pieces of card. So there we go. So we can now construct the card. I'm just gonna use multi-purpose liquid glue, add the layer, and then stick that on the front. Turn it over and make sure it is adhered on there nicely. And before we add the donkey, we can use the chalk marker to add interest on there. What you could also do is either add that on and then add the white dots, which is probably going to be better. So that one gets added on with dimensionals. And now we can use the chalk marker. So you can press and go back to get the bigger dots. If you follow our channel, you probably know that I do like doing this, adding a bit more interest, and just do random ones. And turn it around, whatever is easier for you to hold. So if you are enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you haven't already subscribed, do consider subscribing to our channel for more card making and papercraft inspiration using Stampin' products. Here we go. So we just go back in for more intense white dots and make it bigger as well. Go up a bit more. What you could also do is sprinkle some water on the background if you prefer. Again, it'll create a different texture to your project. So that is done. So we're gonna add the sentiment. Again, that can be added, I've added that on with dimensionals. Just do a couple. But I'm also gonna add linen thread bow. So just create a bow. Whatever is easier. And we're gonna hide that underneath the sentiment. So that's gonna go there. And we'll use mini glue dots for that one. And then sentiment. You could also curl your even more or make it straighter if you prefer. think that's fine. Here we go. And to finish up, we're gonna add flowers for every season gems, the clear one. So we're gonna add 2 dots of liquid glue there, and then another one here. Again, use your take your pick tool for easy pickup. You just need to make sure that it's the correct way, because if it's upside down, it might take you longer. There we are. Here's the finished card with the Darling Donkeys and Corner Bouquet free celebration stamp set. And the original is this one, which I've used the snail dice for the sentiment, and I colored the donkey in cinnamon cider blends. So I wanted to create a lighter color, and you can create a really simple donkey card as well. This one was colored the same way as that, except but I used ivory and bronze on the hooves there. So yes, so I hope you like those cards, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, bye!